Fantastic. What's up, everyone? Greetings and salutations. My name is Colin Moriarty. This is Greg Miller. And welcome to another episode of Colin and Greg Live.
They said we'd never make it 3 days, and we proved them wrong, everybody. The life of us continues.
The life of us does continue.
We need to point out.
Okay.
Well, first off, we're tired. Launching your own business, doing all this stuff, getting 100,000 subscribers on YouTube.com.
Oh, thank you so much for that.
/Kind of Funny Games, or Kind of Funny is amazing, crazy. We just did the Game Over Greggy show for next week, for Friday, if you're a Patreon subscriber, right before this. And on top of that, then we're doing interviews with other outlets, and we're doing the Kind of Funny Games cast this evening. So it's a marathon of content for us to make today.
Yeah, very tired. There's been a very busy week. We just, as you said, recorded, I guess, next week's episode, or this Friday's episode for our Patreon supporters episode of the Game Over Greggy show. And in that, we were basically talking about the rigmarole of everything we've been doing.
Yeah.
How...
And Fernie likes my shirt. Sorry, I had to show it.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's all about you.
It is. Can you just let me have a moment?
No, it's all about you, Greg. We're back. This is our live show, our daily live show every day, every weekday, 11 a.m. Pacific time here on Twitch TV, twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. Colin Live explores all the different things.
Just tell me, Scarp.
Nice, it's ugly.
Nick Scarpino, everybody, the producer/seducer. He's got a new shirt.
Is it a new shirt?
No, he's kindoffunny.com/store.
Oh,
you can buy the producer/seducer.
You can buy, absolutely.
Kevin Smith approved.
So this is our daily show where we talk about all things kind of nerd culture. So, helping, as it were, Greg, video games, comics, movies, and all those things. But Greg, some news broke just very recently.
You know what my reaction to that is?
What's that?
Watch the screen over there.
You have to understand that I'm Geraldo. I'm not anyone to trifle with.
I love that you actually made it happen.
Yeah! I want you to know that getting that into our program not only crashed the program this morning, it wiped out our original. I had to rebuild everything this morning to get it. Well,
because you don't trifle with.
Nobody should trifle with Geraldo.
I love that you.
That's what it's all about.
Just for context, that was from Celebrity Apprentice, and I took a video. I rewound it and took a video of it and sent it to Greg because I thought it was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
So anyways, you said there was news now. There's happened.
There's news. So let's jump right into the news, and then we'll get into everything else a little later about what we're doing here, because I think this is going to be important to a lot of the people.
Welcome, Robot Time Lord. New sub.
Marvel. This is from Marvel.com. Marvel and Netflix announced release date for Marvel's Daredevil.
Yeah.
The Man Without Fear will be available to audiences around the world. We've teased you with casting announcements and photos from Marvel's Daredevil, but we can finally tell you when you can see the series for yourself. April 10th. Exclusively on Netflix.
Okay.
That's right, Marvelites. Season 1 of Marvel's Daredevil will premiere with a 13-hour, 1-hour episodes on April 10th, 2015 at 12:01 a.m. Pacific time in all territories where Netflix is available.
How do you feel about this news?
I don't really care, but I know that a lot of people out there do. What I'm interested in is that Marvel is making. Let me reverse it. That Netflix is making so many moves that they're able to get something that I feel like is this high profile. That's not something. House of Cards is awesome. We love House of Cards, but it's not a Marvel property that had a movie that maybe wasn't very well liked, or whatever, but like it's a property that they can do something with, and Netflix got involved, and they're now getting something from Marvel, and Marvel, of course, is the part of the zeitgeist right now. So I think that it's a pretty big thing. What do you think about it?
I'm so stupid. I was thinking this like we're doing like a podcast. I can just ask the audience. Everybody knows I'm a big DC fan. My question at the top that I need the chat to answer for me is: this happening in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Is this in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. world and then in the cinematic movie world? I want to know that. What do I think about this, though? I'm excited. Daredevil's a cool character. Cool cat. One of those Marvel characters that I actually know a little bit about, appreciate. Loved Kevin Smith's run on Daredevil, which is one of the reasons I think I like him more than anybody. What I dig about it is, first off, the concept's cool. This blind superhero, he's out there.
It is cool.
Fixing Hell's Kitchen, doing all these cool things.
Oh, so it takes place in New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I also really, really dig about it, he's a lawyer. It is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Thank you for everybody saying that. What I also dig about this is the actor. How far did you get in Boardwalk Empire?
The end of the 3rd season, I want to say.
How many seasons have there been?
I think there's 5 total.
Oh, crap. Well, this is the young Irish guy who was plowing Lucky's wife there that they had broken up by that time. You know what I'm talking about here? We're going to get his information.
I don't think so.
The Twitch is going to shout out his name. Do you know what I'm talking about here?
I know who you're talking about.
What's his name? No?
I'll look it up for you.
Well, thank you, Nick. Nick's the producer /
They should be in my
producer.
bedroom under my TV.
Nick needs keys to leave the house since we're doing a live show and none of us know where our keys are. They're not in the silver bowl out there?
No, I can't see them.
They're not in my pants pockets. I don't know where they are. Probably ate them. He's a great actor. We're about to get his name from Nick over here. You gotta. Well, I'm sure. Again, just tell me down. I didn't slow the chat. People are yelling at me. All right. We need to know what his name is. Oh, damn, I want that Nick emoticon. Just become a sub. Huh? Okay, good.
All right, so what I'm interested to ask you and maybe the audience out there.
Charlie Cox. Charlie Cox is fantastic, and I'm really excited to see what his take on Matt Murdock is. The one thing I'm not sold on is the outfit. The outfit is black. Like, it's cool. Have you seen it?
No, I'll look it up right now.
Okay, good. Dang, you know what? I gotta find my wireless keyboard because then I can pop things up over here too. So if I could, but I can't.
Okay, go on. You were saying something.
I wish it was the red. I like the red duds more than I like these black duds he's wearing. Now, granted, again, you can already see it side by side with a comic frame. We know what's up against it there.
I think it's neat. I mean, that makes
neat.
that makes a lot more sense.
He was always in like a dark maroon. You know what I mean? It's not like he's in like bright red. You know what I mean? Like even that is. I mean, it's black.
I mean, this is pretty
well,
bright.
it's on black and white kind of. They're making him pop.
All right. So what I'm most curious about, Greg, what I'm most curious about to ask you with this particular announcement is that, again, we've talked about this in the past, where I kind of feel like superhero movies are kind of becoming it's critical mass almost at this point.
Real quick.
Like they're what.
We have Mr. Goose saying that this is his pre-costume from the comics. He will adorn the Crimson later in the season. So I'm all set.
Good.
Now you're talking about oversaturation.
Okay, so we were talking about oversaturation of the movie, specifically with Marvel announcing, and DC's kind of doing the same thing where they're announcing their slate maybe even 5.5 years ahead of time, which I think is like really ridiculous. And I do think that it's going to rubber band and that some of these movies aren't going to do well. Although we have to figure out what that is. But I feel like with Gotham and with Arrow and The Flash is starting,
it's already been
going on, and now this. Again, it seems like there's an inundation of too many comic book things. Because to me, like, it seems like people like Arrow. I'm sure that show is going to be perpetually on the bubble though, because of
Arrow.
Yeah, because of It's
you mean, what do you mean by on the bubble? Like
that it's on a smaller network, and that like they are going to have their expectations are lower. I don't think Arrow. I guess I'm thinking about with Gotham being on a bigger network, whatever. There's not a lot of hype about Gotham. I don't see people really talking about Gotham, and people don't really see that it's good. The expectations are lower because I think Arrow's on CW, right? So I think that the threshold there is lower for them.
This comes back to what we're talking about with big name characters. Batman, Gotham, that's so established, people know it, and the show has not been a home run from the get-go. So for sure, that one, people are like, eh. Arrow, everybody's like, Green Lantern, who cares? Or I'm sorry, Green Arrow, who cares about him? And now that show's over-delivered. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why it's like that, based on whatever production qualities. Those are both Arrow and Flash are killing it for the CW. And meanwhile, Gotham, is this meandering product that people are like, I've heard it gets better halfway through this where they are now, but like I gave it 2 or 3 episodes and I was just like, I like DC, but I'm not into this.
Yeah, and this is what I thought. I was just looking at the Nielsen ratings for Arrow. I mean, the ratings are not good. I mean, they're
for CW. And this is what you're talking about, bigger network versus smaller network.
The first season was ranked 119th among all TV shows, and the second season was 120th. So those are actually not good numbers. But
here's the thing
But again, the threshold's low. What I'm saying is, if how much is too much for something like this, and
sure,
can this kind of be sustained, and will we see more of this, and what happens when there's 6 or 8 or 10 of these shows?
Sure.
Just like what happens when there's 6 or 8 or 10 of these movie products.
Right. Well, see, now this is, I feel like, first off, Daredevil is the step in the right direction for what you're talking about. Yeah, Arrow's TV ratings suck because nobody watches TV anymore. Arrow was doing well. Mike Pereira from IGN was telling me all about it. Database Mike, shout out to him, about how great it was and this, that, and the other. And it wasn't until it came to Netflix and I could binge watch it where I was like, this is awesome. And everybody did that. And then I went and bought them all, season 2, the first half I had missed, bought them all on Amazon Prime. You know what I mean? That's where they're making their money. That's where they're doing this. This is the changing landscape of TV, right? And that's the same thing with Daredevil. If Daredevil was a weekly show, no, I probably wouldn't give it too much, I'd try to catch it here and there and the other. Netflix, catch it. That was interesting. What's the not pilot look like? Okay, great. The same thing with Gotham even. If I could jump ahead, people are like, oh, it gets good here. Well, it's like, I've already canceled on my DVR. I don't feel like catching up with it. But if I can just binge watch, that's where it works. And this is what we're talking about too with like the way, not you and I was having a conversation with someone who shall remain nameless about The Walking Dead. It was Nick Scarpina. And he was talking about...
You hid his identity for a good amount
I
of time.
gotta reveal my sources! This is why I had to get out of the journalism game. No. With Nick Scarpino, we were talking about The Walking Dead, and he's been binge watching it on Netflix. He caught up, and now his wife's catching up on season 1, and they were texting each other in the car about how amazing it was or whatever. And I'm like, oh, good. And I'm like, I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you stuck with it. A lot of people dropped out in season 2. And he's like, I thought season 2 was fantastic. And I'm like, really, the barn stuff? And I know you didn't watch this, right?
No.
So they stayed on this farm for a long time, and people were like ready to riot on Twitter. And
no, I did watch up to that point, the old man's farm.
Yeah, Herschel. And this is where we lost a whole bunch of people. But the problem was that we lost people, and it felt like they were at that barn forever because it was week to week. When Nick binge watches it, he sees it the way the writers envisioned it when they sat around the table. You know what I mean? And this is a conversation I had then with Jared Petty about this, because Jared dropped out on the Walking Dead comic books, but I still love the Walking Dead comic books. However, I felt way more invested into the Walking Dead comic books when I read them in trade paperback form. Once I started going week to week or month to month with them, you lose, wait, what happened last month? No, and then it's only 22 pages and it's over.
Right.
When you have these narrative threads play out the way they're supposed to be with better pacing, I think it changes everything. And that's the same thing with Gotham. Gotham's had a rocky start, and I'm like, I have better things to do. Maybe I'll catch it when it's on Netflix, right? And now with Daredevil, I think that's a different thing. But this is the interesting thing for you. What's the return on investment for people who are doing this, for Netflix to do this?
ROI, as they call it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
What's the ROI for the TV networks who are making these shows as well? Because you figured this, you always talk, we just did the Game Over Greggy show. It'll be up on Friday, it'll be up next week. Spoiler alert, though, we talk about superhero movies and Ant-Man in particular. You talked about the fact that, if you feel it's oversaturation, people only have so much money. Is a family going to go see these Marvel movies if they come out too much? And I still stand by 2 Marvel movies a year. No big deal. You can actually go do that, right? And I think you can do that. But TV, completely different story. You're talking about 22 hours of your life, right?
Right.
How many superhero shows can you do? I gave Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a chance, not a long one, but I was like,
That's another one, yeah.
I see what you're doing. I like where you're going, but I don't like it enough to stick this out and actually stick with it for the foreseeable future. Instead, I bounced, and now I hear it got even better. And now Agent Carter's out, and I hear it premiered. I didn't even know it was premiering because it's just like bandwidth-wise.
This is exactly.
What can I do?
This is a great point, and I mean, I was most surprised. The only show of these, because being kind of a noob to comics and really kind of learning a lot of stuff for the first time, really kind of opening my mind to it a little bit. Gotham was the one that seemed the most intriguing to me, and when that show was getting, I don't want to say critically panned because I don't think that's true, but I haven't heard really anything great about it.
Nobody's like, this thing's awesome.
And that really surprised me because I was excited about that because I've said many times I think Batman is the most intriguing of the superheroes to me, and the villains are really the major reason why that's so intriguing.
Sure.
So kind of the origin story of not only Bruce Wayne but also the origin story of the Penguin and the Riddler and all these guys. That's very interesting to me.
Now, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We have Mr. Saline? Why can't I say that word right now?
What is it? Mr. Saline.
Saline, thank you. You ever have that where you get to the word in your head and you can't say it?
Pretty much every word I ever see.
Mr. Saline says, I disagree, Greg. The writers didn't envision that at all. He's talking about the Herschel Farm season. That season came in the middle of a writer's strike and they had to fill time, as well as skimp on the budget. That season was not planned. It was meandering filler. See, that's 100% true, right, that the writer's strike happened, da-da-da-da-da. But I think that Nick can watch it and enjoy it and get the thread. There's writers who had to write that show, right? Get the narrative thread they were driving at and not be as mad as we were. I was very much, get off the farm. I don't care about Sophia anymore. Come on. And
Tell us what happened. Is that what you were saying?
No, I was not saying that. Nick's interpretation of it was that everything that happened and then when the barn doors opened was a great conclusion, a great thread. He had fun with it. Whereas for us, it was like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Oh, there it is.
Real quick, Greg, some people
please.
are asking me about the green drink.
Yeah, Dion Troy J. What the fuck is Colin drinking?
So I'm gonna explain a little something to you guys.
Team fact.
Well, I'm gonna explain something to you about this. Don't pull my game on me, Greg.
I'm doing it.
I don't want to do it.
You're a pretender to the throne.
We'll see who's the pretender when we go to hard water.
We will see.
Yeah, we will.
They won't.
No,
we'll talk about it tomorrow.
So I don't eat breakfast at all. I don't eat typically from 8 at night or so until 12 or 1 the next day. So like a 16-hour period. I'm just drinking these for breakfast in addition to nothing because I don't usually have anything to eat. So technically I'm having more calories than I usually do. So team fat all the way. My girlfriend makes this. It's spinach, I don't know, parsley, pears, apples, whatever. It's pretty good. It's actually really good. It doesn't go down hard. It's actually pretty
Sean
good.
Pitts, #quitter. Immortal Sandwich, Team Fat My Ass, Colin as a pretender.
Oh my God. There's a struggle.
Huck Tanner, all lies.
There's a struggle for the throne.
Oh, now here, Dazul says, Walking Dead is completely awful. Arrow, Flash, far better shows. Funny what people will stick with, no matter how lame the series gets. Yo, Dazul, fuck you.
I actually agree with him in the sense that I don't remember exactly when I stopped watching Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I remember that I watched at least 3 or 4 seasons of it, I think. Like around
You didn't watch
the governor
Okay.
comes in. Yeah, I mean when that creepy scene with his daughter and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I got that far.
Okay.
And I thought that the show was totally falling off a cliff too. So I think that a lot, and that's why I stopped watching it. Like I was just like, I'm not intrigued by this anymore because there are shows that, like Celebrity Apprentice, for instance, one of the
Yeah.
great shows of all time, where
Great narrative thread in
where that show
Celebrity
comes back and
Apprentice.
I'm on it
I
like
know.
this. Or Down Abbey comes back, which is one of the great shows of all time.
Right,
Literally,
right.
seriously, one of the great shows of all time, and it comes back and I'm on it.
Sure, I
You know what
understand.
I mean?
I understand that.
But I am going to go back and finish it.
I'm not putting Walking Dead TV in the pantheon of Mad Men or Breaking Bad, but it's a show that I enjoy. You know what I mean? And I enjoy it for the same reason I enjoy the comics, which is the people. You know what I mean? The stories about them and what's happening. The reason I had a problem with season 2 and the barn and all that stuff is that it took forever, but it just nobody was moving, nothing was happening.
And you don't
know
like
what I mean?
farms.
I hate farms. Oh my god, all the corn growing on them,
Mm-hmm.
it grosses me out. But no, they've turned it around. I thought in particular with they took so many mid-season breaks. But last season's mid-season break, when they came back for the second half of last season, they told a whole bunch of stories that were like about specific characters. You didn't jump around in the episode. It was like, all right, here's Daryl, here's Beth, this is what they're doing together. And then, okay, here's Carol, here's Tyrese, this is what they're doing together. And that was an awesome structure that I wish they'd get back to. Because now, it's interesting. I cared more about these characters because of those things, but now it's that hodgepodge of like, all right, 5 minutes with Meg and Glenn. All right, now I'll hop over here. Now we come back here. And it's like, no. Just like, I'd love to see him kill a whole bunch of people on the
Yeah,
show.
that was
Get it
what I
down to
was
Rick,
wanting
Carl,
to.
and Michonne and just go that way.
The Game of Thrones kind of route. So let's stick with the Marvel movies, Greg, because another big piece, or Marvel properties, I should say, because another big piece of, I don't know what the hell you're doing.
I'm
It's
dancing.
scaring me.
I'm dancing.
Ant-Man, Marvel's Ant-Man, or
Yeah.
as I like to call it,
The Ant-Man.
is coming out
Weirdo.
officially July 17, 2015 in the United States. That's its release date. Paul Rudd obviously stars as the Ant-Man. Michael Douglas is in it as presumably the original Ant-Man,
Yeah,
as
Hank
I
Pym.
understand.
Hank Pym.
Corey Stoll's in it, who of course is from House of Cards. Patrick Wilson's in it, etc. and so on. So
Evangelina Lilly you left out there.
oh, sorry, yeah, I skipped.
Yeah. It's Kate, right?
Yeah, it's Kate from
Lost.
from The Lost.
We gotta go back.
So, how do you feel about this news? And I mean, this kind of goes back to, again, the oversaturation of Marvel properties, in my opinion. But at the same time, you educated me on something. I knew that, and maybe some people, I'm sure a lot of people out here do know this because
Let us know in the chat.
They're into this a lot more than I am, probably, in terms of the comics. But I knew that Sony had some sort of deal with Marvel with the Spider-Man movies, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that they didn't own, in terms of film production, the X-Men property.
Right, yeah. Fox
Because I was wondering, I'm like, why Ant-Man? Like, why not Bishop
Yeah,
or
you're saying
Cable
Cable,
or
yeah.
like, I don't know, just there's like a
Right.
bunch of different characters, and you kind of educated me on that, so that makes a little more sense.
It shows how weird and crappy business can get, right? And the fact that Marvel was in a rough way, right? And they had to make money, so they got rid of those rights. And then, they came out and they're like, granted, X-Men really started it all off. X-Men started the current superhero, trend we're caught in, right? Bryan Singer did a great job with 1 and 2, and that kind of reignited everybody on what these things could be. And that, helped get Marvel back into black, but it also then moves on without them. And Spider-Man's the one that hurts the most. In the fact that, especially now when they're talking about doing the Civil War movie coming up and stuff, it's like, Spider-Man has such a cool role in Civil War. And now to have Sony, because they're in a tough way, talking to Marvel about it, it's like, yes. But I don't understand, again, I say it all the time, I didn't major in business. I wish I knew a little bit more about contracts, OEG, and whatnot. But my thing with the current state of the Marvel universe is Marvel is like the biggest thing happening right now. And granted, it's Disney too, and yada, 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 but their movies come out and they all print money. I don't understand how Sony and Fox can't see that and want to do crossover and this, that, and the other. And like, why are they hung up on like whose logo goes in front and who gets boxed? It's like fucking.
It could be,
movies are in a dire way. Period. Be happy that this is hitting and make it awesome.
But I'd like to think Spider-Man, as far as I'm concerned, I saw that on the TV, the one with the rhino in it.
Saw it on the TV. Amazing Spider-Man 2, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was on an airplane coming back from like Europe or something.
Yeah. This
And
is how
then
you watch all your Spider-Man
And I haven't
movies.
seen the one with Electro, right? He's the bad guy in the newer Spider-Man movie.
Well, that's the same one as the Rhino movie.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm thinking of a different one then. No, I saw that one. Okay, so I didn't see the one before that, right?
Okay, yeah,
In
it
other
was
words, they
Lizard.
rebooted it 3 times or something. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Just once.
And
They
I'm
did the Sam Raimi films and then the Andrew Goldfarb movie.
Right, so the ones that came out like when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay.
They say
And
that
it seems like that's more Spider-Man. The Spider-Man property seems to be more in dire straits, as you were saying, not only because of the company that's kind of controlling it right now, but because of maybe some unsavory films that people didn't really care about.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing with it.
But with Fox,
Yeah.
with X-Men, I'd like to think that they're a little more cognizant of the fact that there is such a thing as too much.
They went to the
and they did release Days of Future Past, right?
Yeah.
And that did very well.
Right.
So, I mean,
yeah, Fox went to the brink with X-Men. Like X-Men 3 Last Stand was garbage. Then they did Wolverine X-Men Origins, and that was garbage. And it was like, okay, you're self-destructing. Great to see it happen, right? And then they came back with First Class, and people were like, all right. And then they did The Wolverine, and people were like, oh, it's all right. It's pretty much it's okay. We'll let it go. And then then they came back and did the whole Days of Future Past, which is awesome. And now they're talking. Now they're doing Apocalypse and stuff. And
I liked Apocalypse in the cartoon.
Oh yeah,
he was a very cool character.
Yeah,
big character.
Yeah, he was big.
Very big character. I had the action figure, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean the X-Men that's the problem, and that's what spoiler alert for the Game Over Greggy show. Why Tim was like, they'll never give that up because they're still making money on X-Men. X-Men's still doing really well for them. Spider-Man, on the other hand, is completely off the rails at this point. They don't think Goldfarb will be back for other movies. They're not sure. They're talking about the Sinister Six movie.
Hell yeah.
They talked about this,
Mysterio.
but without Spider-Man. It's like, I don't understand what you're talking about.
So
like, what are you fucking talking about?
Do they exist outside of that universe?
No, they exist in the Marvel universe.
That's so weird.
Fighting Spider-Man.
That's funny as hell because I actually really, maybe it's just a silly kid like watching the Spider-Man cartoon, really took to those characters. Like,
yeah, no,
Mr.
they're cool.
Sinister
And they're talking about the Venom movie and Carnage. And then,
of course, Shocker.
Then there's been the rumors that he doesn't even shock people. He uses sound waves. And then Aunt May might get her own prequel movie is what they're talking about. It's like, you guys stop.
Aunt May.
Fucking pump the brakes. You don't even know what you're talking about right now. You know what I mean? And so I really, really, really hope that they come to terms and get Spider-Man involved. Because like that's what I was talking about when we went and saw Avengers or Winter Soldier or whatever. Like, the best thing that could ever possibly happen is that Sony and Marvel come to terms with Spider-Man behind the scenes, totally quiet. And then the after credits Easter egg is Spider-Man. You want to talk about like everything, the internet melting down. That would be legendary.
Right.
Like, I always tell the story of like why I'll always go see midnight releases, right? Is I went and saw, first off, I just love the energy of a midnight release for a comic book movie, only for comic book movies. And when Damon and I went and saw Avengers Midnight, when spoilers for the after credits scene of Avengers, or I guess middle of the credits scene actually, but when Thanos pops up for the first time and looks over his shoulder, there was a girl in front of me that jumped up and went, "Ah!" And I was like, I love this energy, but that's a bit over the. If they showed Darkseid at the end of Superman, I wouldn't be like, "Wah!" You know what I mean? But like, if they showed Spider-Man at the end of it, I would fucking knock Damon out and then rip off his face. Because there has to be headlines that say Spider-Man revealed, audience literally loses mind.
And then they can't enjoy the movie when it comes out because they lost their mind. Literally.
Exactly. And then that would people would be afraid to go to the movies, and that would force digital movies to come out, which is what I want. That's what I'm driving at.
So that's the two big Marvel pieces of news today, by the way. What are we laughing at?
I looked down at your screen and it's delayed, and you're just drinking that giant green juice.
So yeah, Ant-Man's release date in movies, and before that, coming to Netflix, the Daredevil the series, which is sooner than I think a lot of people thought it was going to be ready.
Would you like... Oh, you're about to call a question from me?
No, please.
I was going to say, would you like to take a complete left turn?
Yes.
Not on topic at all.
Why not?
Scion Fantasy X says, sorry for unrelated topic, but I'm just tuning in, sorry. And I have a question to Greg and Colin. I've been meaning to ask for a while. You guys have a Vita since the beginning and probably still rock the old model. If that's the case, do you guys intend to upgrade to the slim one? What are your thoughts about both models?
That is a left turn and a left
Hey,
turn.
you know what? It's the chat, it's Twitch. This is how we do it on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. Of course, we stream. Thank you very much, Zayleno90, for subscribing. You'd think we would both be rocking the old models. However, and this is a point of contention in our otherwise loving relationship, is the fact that I did jump to the new model. When I was in Japan, I bought the black and pink Vita, mainly because I didn't own a Vita of my own. We had gotten them through IGN. I'd never bothered to buy my own. So when I saw the black and pink one in Japan last year, I was like, hell yeah, I bought that and love it. I love it. I totally love the Slim. Now, I'm very much of the mind that if you already have an OLED Vita and you're happy, don't buy it. I still have that original 3DS. This is why I won't buy an XL.
Right.
Because fuck that, it works. This is what I want. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you still stand by your OLED and would never think of touching.
No, I mean, when I was in Japan a couple times ago, I basically was able to go to Sony and play with it a little bit before it came out and kind of feel it and hold it. And I just didn't like, it was bendable and pliable. It was weird. I didn't like the way it felt. I still really do feel the OLED one more. And I think I'll upgrade eventually because I'm probably going to have to. I think my battery's degrading.
Oh, really?
I think that, I'm afraid that if I send it to Sony, they're just going to they're just going to do what they used to do with the PS3s. Like when you would send the fat PS3 that was backwards compatible, they would just mysteriously, I think, like send some people just a new PS3 or whatever because like something was broken in it. And I don't want something to happen where they're like, oh, we can't actually replace the Vita, but here's this new Vita or whatever, and you can pay for it. In other words, I don't want to lose my OLED because I really like it. I think that the screen's obviously way better. So
did you know that Vita battery? No, I'm sorry. Did you see this tweet / Instagram I put out last week? I was cleaning out my IGN desk. I couldn't say that at the time. But did you know that if you leave the PSP alone,
I saw your pictures. The batteries
expand and then blow the doors off the thing.
I'm sure Sony didn't know that at the time.
Well, one of the Sony PR people who will remain nameless immediately tweeted me saying like, yeah, that's totally, you didn't know that would happen? I'm like, how the hell would I know that's going to happen?
That can be so nameless now. They can pretty easily find...
They don't know who I'm talking about. Oh, no, it was an email. It wasn't like he didn't tweet back at me. It was like, hey, I have an email about it. Hold on. I'm trying to show how cool we are. I got that. And then I do this. And then I go, look at that. You can see it. Oh, I stayed up till 4 a.m. making sure we could get that sweet, sweet Vita image B-roll off.
That's
my
pretty
Twitter.
cool, man.
You like that?
Yeah.
You know who else likes that?
You have to understand that I'm Geraldo. I'm not anyone to trifle with.
They can hear it, right? Obviously.
Oh, yeah, the audience hears Geraldo. We just
my-
don't hear Geraldo.
oh my
And then when
God.
Geraldo's on screen, they don't hear us either.
That's just the best.
Yeah, God, that's awesome. Look at this show. Day 3, we got B-roll, we got Geraldo on. Everybody tweeted Geraldo. Tell him great appearance on the Colin and Greg live show at twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames.
All right, let's move on to some new news here. Some different news, some non-movie news, some game news. It was revealed that PS4 software has topped 81.8 million units. And I thought this was a pretty significant number. In fact, we can do a little bit of math, Greg, on the fly. If I go here to my control panel, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to, where am I going to go? Accessories? Right? We can find a we can go to
Oh, you're trying
my
to get calculator.
programs.
Why don't you just go to the little thing and say
calculator.
Geraldo? Everybody's saying Geraldo's audio is too low. I think that's because it's a Vine off your...
Yeah, it's too low because that,
That's the max audio output I can give to Geraldo. So I'm sorry, everybody.
it's all right, guys.
We'll bump him up in post one day.
So anyway, this software sales number of for PS4 of 81.8 million, which presumably, unfortunately, this press release that I'm looking at anyways in Japanese, but this number has obviously been translated by other people. But I can't read it specifically enough to make sure that it's all titles. I assume that is retail and digital. That would be a really high number. It was only
If
retail.
it was just box copies, yeah, that'd be insane.
So it's certainly digital games as well. I think the bigger question is, does this include PS Plus downloads as well? But the attach rate is going way up for PS4. We know, as we discussed on the show yesterday or 2 days ago, that PS4 sold 18.5 million units to consumers. With 81.8 million software sales, that is a 4.42 attach rate. So PS4 has a 4.42 attach rate, which is way higher. I think the first time it was reported was a 2.3. So the attach rate has nearly doubled. What do you make of that, Gregory?
It's good to know people are buying the system and buying games. You know what I mean? I think we talked about that yesterday, right? When we were talking about how the giant, massive number of PS4 sold, which was what, 184? Was that right?
What was it? What?
PS4 sold. What was the number we gave out yesterday?
Oh, 18.5 million.
No, it wasn't 184 million?
No.
You
Definitely
sure about
not
that
100.
number?
184 million PS4s, making it the highest selling console of all time.
I was really upset. I threw that softball and you were like distracted by the chat, and I was like, oh, I gotta poke.
Sorry,
him again.
I'm trying to.
No, that's how the
keep
Twitch
up
show
here.
works. We're keeping up with everybody. I'm glad people are buying games. It's interesting, and this is what people always talk about with us, right? Like, well, how does Sony compensate numbers for digital releases? Like, NPD comes out. It's this, that, and the other. We never know exactly. They only ever talk about their digital sales when it's really good news.
Right.
So it's good to see that it's really good news, right? That you've been concerned. You've been vocally concerned on this show, on Podcast Beyond, on other shows, the fact that people are buying the system, but do they have games to play? And clearly they do.
Yeah, they're finding games, and I've said that I feel like on PS4 specifically, there's a lack of AAA exclusives that are must play. I think Killzone Shadowfall is a good game. I think it's a great game. I really liked the campaign a lot. I thought Guerrilla made some real nice strides in reimagining Killzone and making it more interesting, because I think that series was really stale. And I actually think that Cambridge did a really nice job too with the handheld version of Killzone.
Yeah,
on Vita.
no, totally.
So I think that's a good game. Knack, obviously, no one really cared about, even though it sold really well. It bundled in Japan, so I think its sales were inflated. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Knack too as well. But other than that, Infamous Second Son, I thought was a little bit of a disappointment. I thought it was a great game again, but Infamous and Infamous 2 were way better games. And Cole's a way better character, I think, than Delson. So, in other words, these systems are selling, and these games are selling without that guaranteed millions and millions of copies that Uncharted 4 will sell. The guarantee bump that PS4 is going to see with Bloodborne and the Order 1886. It's actually very intriguing. I think a lot of these game sales are surely happening digitally.
Right.
With the great digital games that are available, like Resogun, for instance.
Cell Processing asks us, will we ever talk about other platforms? We love you guys, but PC gamers are here too. Here, to my recollection, Colin, correct me if I'm wrong, you're just pulling the news of the day. That's how this works.
Yep.
If we're missing PC news, number one, tell us where to find it and what it is. Number two, I guess, would be what it is.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to.
We want to talk about everything. It's just one of those things. Yeah, you know.
I go to gaming websites and movie websites, and I just look at the biggest news stories, and I'm not seeing anything big for PC. I will be clear that
is there a new driver out? Not like like a driver for your computer.
I do want to be clear too that we want to be able to be kind of authoritative, but at the same time honest with you guys that if some big MOBA news or League of Legends news happens, I don't really think we can talk about that. At least not right now with the preparedness we have, because I don't know anything about those games. So I'm not going to just pull literally anything.
Yeah, you're not. Hey, Greg, there's a new patch for Dota, and it makes jungles less effective, and we're gonna sit here and go, okay.
Wait, the jungles are less effective?
Yeah, that's a real thing. That actually is a kind of intelligent thing to say about Dota.
What the hell? I don't even know what the hell that means.
Yeah, they have jungles you can hide in. They call it jungling them when you jump out and attack people.
All right, should we move on, Greg? Are you ready?
Yeah. PS Vita says, do you go to IGN for news? We sure do.
Oh yeah, I go to
right now we're at
IGN and GameSpot. I'm on GameSpot. This is I thought was a really interesting news story. This is from Eddie over at GameSpot. And this is a story that I actually have seen going around.
Yeah. PCGamer.com, people are saying.
On YouTube, the 2014's YouTube searches. YouTube obviously is owned by Google. They released what people are searching YouTube for the most, right?
And they said oration.
And I was really interested by this. They released the top 10.
Search terms on
YouTube. So Google has revealed the top search queries according to GameSpot for YouTube in 2014. So here's number 10 is Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Number 9 is Eminem.
What?
Number 8 is Happy, presumably the Pharrell song.
Oh yeah, that
Number
makes
7
sense.
is PewDiePie, which is unbelievable.
Shout out to PewDiePie.
Yeah, good for him.
He follows me.
Number 6 is Beyonce. Number 5 is Drake. Number 4, this is for Tim, is Frozen. Number 3 is movies. Number 2, Minecraft.
Nice. What the hell's number 1?
Music. But I think that what this shows you is that, let's see, Taylor Swift, Eminem, Happy, Beyonce, Drake, and music. So 6 of the top 10, including number 1, are all music-based. Obviously, YouTube is awesome for music. I use it for music all the time. But you see the power of gaming here, too.
Yeah.
2 more of them are PewDiePie, who's just a dude, a very popular YouTuber, the most popular YouTuber at all, makes millions of dollars, does a great job, people love him, is the 7th most searched for item on YouTube in the world.
Yeah.
And Minecraft is just a video game, and obviously a very popular, prominent video game. Number 2, the number 2 most searched for item. So I'm really, really intrigued by that.
I mean, it shows the power of what Minecraft is. Minecraft, spoiler alert, we filmed one of our Let's Plays with it for, not Teaching Tuesday, right? Which one is it? Friday. Anything Goes Friday, where I wanted to show you and Tim it, because you don't have the experience I do, thanks to playing so much of it. And what's great about Minecraft, right, is that you get dropped into a world and you do whatever. And so when you do that, you're immediately left to, well, crap, now I need to know how to do this, how to do that, how to do that. Then you're into the rabbit hole of somebody who made the Starship Enterprise, then how this. Then you find Let's Players who are like, the Achievement Hunter guys do such amazing stuff. Like I have to show you this one they did, right? Where they built Monopoly. And they play a game of Monopoly in Minecraft with that's
unbelievable.
Awesome. It's so amazing. What great ideas.
It's really
We got to make our server. I keep talking about that.
So I just thought that people would be interested in that. I know a lot of us will really, especially me, I love niche games, indie games, JRPGs, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We are a small group. I mean, we're a passionate group. Yeah. But, man, the passion right now rests with guys like PewDiePie and games like Minecraft.
And Kind of Funny Games.
And you can't, Kind of Funny Games. And you can't deny the power of those products, whether it's the game or whether it's the person. And I think that that's really intriguing.
Henry Wigabago says, hey, what's going on, bros? Your hair looks nice today. There you go, Carl.
Oh,
you were worried about your hair yesterday.
I wasn't really worried about it. I was just saying that.
You were pretty worried.
I was just saying that, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it one way and you can't have it the other way.
What do you got next?
Should we move on? Let's stay on GameSpot and go to this next story, also by Eddie at GameSpot.
Jax377 just subscribed. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. This was interesting. Someone tweeted me this not too long ago, so I think this might have been happening already. But this is basically pointed out by GameSpot. So they say PlayStation TV's price cut across U.S. retailers. Someone had tweeted at me maybe last week that they got PS Vita TV or PS TV for $80 instead of the $100.
Oh,
Real
nice.
shocker, because I'm sure it's flying off the shelves.
Yeah, right.
But here's what Eddie at GameSpot says. He says, the official price point for PlayStation TV, Sony's new launch micro console, is $100 for the base package and $140 for a controller bundle. But many North American retailers are selling them for less. We were tipped off by a reader, maybe the same person, that numerous retailers, including Amazon, Walmart, Best Buy, and GameStop, are selling the base package for $80 and the controller and game bundle for $100. So maybe now is the time. You've been waiting for the PS Vita TV. Might be. Well, I mean, some people.
I would say wait a little bit longer until it gets down to 50.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want one just so we can actually. We have one, don't we? Don't we have them?
No, Sony lent us one.
Oh, okay.
We
should get one to
another
stream so we can stream Freedom Wars and whatever we want to stream from it.
Right, but the problem is even then, I remember and granted, I guess we have a way better setup now. Maybe it'll work better. I'll leave that off.
It's just something to consider.
Yeah, no, totally. That's why I'd be interested in it. But then again, there's so many games to stream, right? Even in Freedom Wars, right? Like, people want a Minecraft server. People want to see me play Sunset Overdrive. Ooh, I gotta launch that game club I was talking about too. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pitch it to them.
Right here, right now, you're gonna ruin your thing for the.
It's a Patreon thing. What, you want me to wait till then and do it?
Oh, you're gonna launch it today. I was saying
so.
You said it on the show though.
Yeah.
So I assumed you were gonna wait until next week.
Well, Friday, anyways, it would be up.
It's a good point. But those people are already subscribed to Patreon.
Right.
That are getting it on Friday.
Right. Yeah, so that doesn't even help them much if they already had the thing.
I don't know, it's just something to consider.
Here's what we're doing. We're going to start here on Kinda Funny Games, both on twitch.tv and on youtube.com/kindafunnygames. Greg Miller's Game of the Month Club. And it's like Book of the Month, right? We're all going to play the same game, and what Colin's talking about is that you'll hear all this discussion later. We're all going to play the same game, and then we're going to talk about it together as a group. We'll have them 1 month to play through and do it. Not the most novel idea. I'm just ripping off book clubs, and I guess you were saying US Gamer does it too,
Yeah,
right?
US Gamer does a really cool...
In a magazine, or not a magazine feature, in a written feature.
Right, exactly.
All right, so we're doing the video feature. So we acknowledge, number one, that other people do this, and I'm not trying to rip anybody off. Number two, though, we're going to put it up, and here's how it's going to be different. We'll announce the game we're playing. Then on patreon.com/kindafunnygames, we're going to put a tier in there where you support us, you get all the other benefits, but there'll only be 3 slots. And those 3 people who do it for the month will then get the game for free from us. We will give it to you, whether by hook or crook. And then you will come on and we will do a little like Google Hangout with all 4 of us talking about it. There'll be a chat over here where everybody who wants to can talk about the game too. Then we'll take the whole thing, snapshot, save it, and put it up on YouTube. So it'll be one giant thing crossing over all the Kinda Funny game streams. I'll try to get that up on Patreon today.
It's a great idea. I'm really excited about it.
You know whose idea it was?
Yours.
Christine Steimer.
Oh, Christine Steimer.
Yeah.
Good for you. You know whose idea it really was?
What?
Jeremy Parrish's.
Well, you know who ideas it really was? Oprah Winfrey. So
I don't know if Oprah Winfrey made up the book of the... She made the book club. That must be ancient.
Well, sure. She took it to TV. She made the book club interactive. Book clubs have been in, who made it? Some bored housewife. I don't know. And then it went on for 50 years. Then Oprah Winfrey's like, I'm putting this on this thing. And then that guy wrote a lie book.
She's an entrepreneur.
The guy lied in this book. Then she brought him on. She was not happy with him.
Oh.
I've had a bone to pick with Oprah Winfrey for a long time, though.
Really? She's a fellow Chicagoan.
Chicagoan, homegrown Chicagoan there. I don't think she's actually from Chicago, but Chicago's your city. Chicago is my city. Here's where me and Oprah have beef. A little movie called Ghostbusters 2 comes out in 1989. Greg is very excited. Little Greg is 5 years old. He wants to go to Oprah Winfrey's show to see the Ghostbusters on the panel, to see them in real life. Greg's Aunt Dell, wonderful woman, very, very hip. Taught kids radio in high school. That was her. That was her thing.
Interesting.
So they ran a little high school radio station. She's using, again, hook or crook, using all her connections in the industry. She had a lot of people to get there, to get to Oprah's people, to get tickets, right? To go around the real ticket way. She gets all the way to the Oprah ticket person, who like a friend of a friend, and he's like, well, we can't do it. Little Greg is too young. You have to be 18 or whatever to come to Oprah Winfrey's show. I'm heartbroken. Watch it on TV. I still have the VHS tape back home or whatever. It's great. There's no kids in the audience. There's some idiot adults with kid proton packs on. I was not happy about that. Fascinating interview as well, though. Annie Potts said she wasn't big into school, and that at the end of the day, she would just throw her books in her locker and shut the door. And look how well it worked out well for her.
Oh, definitely.
Designing women, Ghostbusters, come on, that's a career. But here's where it gets fucking angry, and little Greg turns on Oprah Winfrey like a rabid dog. A couple years later, another movie comes out called Ninja fucking Turtles. And guess what the audience is? It's motherfucking kids left and right. There's no age limits on Ninja Turtles coming on Oprah Winfrey.
They had to make an exception probably at that point.
Get your fucking shit together. Ghostbusters 2 is not a movie designed for adults. It was designed for kids.
I like how you said Mizzou. Like, I don't know how that snuck into your...
It's been a long day already, and we have lots more show to go.
All right. I thought this was an interesting story. This one comes from HuffPost Entertainment. Christopher Rosen over there wrote this one. He said, The Interview, which is of course that controversial movie.
Yeah.
That North Korea apparently hacked that we don't really know. There's a lot of controversy.
You don't believe it.
Well, I don't know.
Government conspiracy.
I don't know.
The Interview was an inside job.
I don't. That's what some people say.
You're an interview truther.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we don't. I mean, who the hell knows? There's so much conflicting evidence, or not evidence, just a lot of talking points about who's responsible for what.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we just hit North Korea for sanctions over the hack, so I don't know. I don't know. But I know that some smart people say that there's no way that they did it.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, that's not what's important. What's important is that The Interview has made $31 million in online and VOD sales so far. VOD, of course, is video on demand. Sony announced Tuesday, this is what the story says from Huffington Post. Sony announced Tuesday that The Interview has earned $31 million, US dollars, Greg, in online and on-demand sales through Sunday, January 4th. Including theatrical ticket sales, the Seth Rogen comedy has pulled down $36 million in total earnings so far. The Interview grossed $15 million after its first 4 days of availability online. Since its Christmas Eve on-demand release, The Interview has been purchased 4.3 million times across multiple platforms. The comedy, which was yanked from a wide release following terror threats made by hackers, is available on Google Play, YouTube, blah, 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 blah. The Interview is Sony Pictures' #1 online film of all time.
Nice.
Sony noted in a press release obtained by CNN. The story says. So good for them.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm most interested in. I'm going to look for this right now.
How that compares?
Well, not that. I want to see usually
how much it was made for.
Yeah, how much it was made. Yeah, the budget was $44 million. You have to include that. Probably includes everything you would assume, right?
Yeah.
Like marketing and stuff. So they'll probably make their money back.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
On a movie that got its legs chopped off from underneath it and did all these different things. Now, granted, the publicity of a country taking down a thing and everything definitely helped the movie. I still need to rent it. I know we said beforehand we were going to rent it regardless.
I'd like to support it.
It's been kind of busy for us here at the end of the month. But I mean, this is my big problem is that, I've been very vocal on the Game Over Greggy show that I want all movies to move to this digital platform.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want day and date digital releases. Nick thinks it's a terrible idea and it'll kill the blah, blah, blah. It won't. People are still going to go to the movie theaters, but I will actually give you more money than than what you are already getting. You're not getting my money right now by making me wait forever. Like, wouldn't you want the money up front to inflate your number? I don't know.
No, it is. I don't know. It's just an interesting dynamic with that movie generally. We were talking about when we were at Dave Fenoy's, I think, about how we're going to look back at this specific movie in 50 years.
Yeah.
Or in 20 years or in 30 years and be like, remember that time all that shit went down?
Yeah.
With the hackers and maybe North Korea was involved and Sony and that movie's the thing in that I think Sony has to be it sucks because they really got worked on this they really did get work on
they had some problems.
But this movie historically is going to be I think an important one and a touchstone and something that people are going to go back to. In other words, I think that there's going to be a long tail for money to be made from this movie for a very long time.
Yeah.
Because people are always going to be intrigued. Oh, what was that movie that you tell your kids in 20 years, 30 years, what was that movie that that all that happened and you go back and rent it or from whatever futuristic TV you have at that point and so I think that's a pretty interesting thing.
Real quick before you jump, I want to talk to the chat here. Box is Best says that absolutely would kill the movie theater releases. I disagree and here's why. Movie theaters are already dying. They're already way too expensive. They're already not a profitable game. They are going to continue to fall off. The only way to stand out is to offer better service like iPix or Alamo Drafthouse and be something better than just a movie theater, right? So by that model and by that line of thinking, you're going to see movie theaters continue to shrink till they are I think what you're thinking, you're a little bit further ahead, that they're like a once-a-year event. This giant movie comes out and it's an event. Or you want to go see Interstellar in IMAX. There has to be a special thing to get you out. Now, the people who already love going to the movies and support going to the movies, they're going to continue to go. It's still going to be an event. It's still going to be a date night. If you're in high school, it's still going to be what you do with your friends, right? Because that's what I did all the time in high school. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, I went to the movies a lot.
Yeah, so did we. It was what you did, right? Because you can't drink. And
it's cheap.
What do you do?
It was relatively cheap.
Yeah, sure.
You work for $6 or $7 an hour.
Yeah. You go to Max and Irma's before, then you go to the AMC Cantigny. You go there, you do that. That'll continue. Yeah, there'll be less movie theaters, but don't kill them. Right now, they're going to die on their own anyway. I'd rather just speed it up, get me what I want right now, so movie theaters make their money and get to do it. Not to mention that you can get better independent movies all over the place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with you completely. I think that the situation with movie theaters and the price of movies is untenable. I think that movie budgets are becoming bloated. I think that's why a lot of studios are losing big on movies.
Yeah.
I always think about a recent, not super recent, but a recent box office disaster was The Lone Ranger. Like that like they took a bath on that movie, man.
Right.
Like, and that's just because that movie was more expensive than it had to be, and it was a big event. Like, I agree with you. That I think the placement of movies in theaters has to be more thoughtful. I think that you make more money initially if you don't have. It's not. I think people have this mentality when it's like, oh, you rent the movie the day it comes out. Interstellar comes out, you rent it at home for $4.99. No, you rent it for $19.99.
Exactly. I'm still paying a lot of money,
Yeah.
but I don't have to worry about getting there and parking. I don't have to worry about an expensive meal. I just sell it for the same price, if not a little bit more than a movie ticket, and I will see it. You
Yeah,
know what mean?
I would gladly pay, like when Interstellar came out, I still haven't seen it because I have to go to the theater, right?
me
And it's
too.
out now and I have to wait. I would have gladly paid $20 the day it came out.
Gone Girl.
Glad.
Sean Finnegan and Nick Scarpino and every one of our nerdy little film friends was like, oh, Gone Girl, so amazing. And like, I would have loved to have seen it, but I didn't want to go to the theaters. And then I as soon as I saw it on Amazon Prime, I was like, fuck yeah. There you go, done, and I'm watching. And not Amazon Prime, Amazon Instant. I don't think it's not a Prime movie. I paid for it, is what I'm saying. I will continue to pay for movies early. I will continue to access. And the problem is, like, what we're talking about with the movie theater, right? The same thing with the movie theater is happening with TV, with YouTube, and with digital content. The industries are all shifting, you know what I mean? It won't be long before the independent filmmaker whose movies you're already seeing on, Amazon, they have all these different things on there, or Netflix,
Say
or
Mike
whatever.
Aransky, for instance.
Sure, yeah, Phobia. You'll see them coming up on YouTube, right? Once you figure out a monetization method that way that can make sense, and you bring down, as technology gets better and better, right? As we live stream the show with all these different things below us telling you information on the fly, as that kind of technology gets to the point where it's like neck and neck with everything and it's affordable, then yeah, people are going to be making movies and putting them everywhere and doing everything else. Go back to your Twitter. I just saw a picture of Mike Coulter, I think.
I guess he plays a character. Let's.
All right, cool. I can't tell if that's Mike, actually. IGN. Put up news stories I can read. I don't want to watch your videos when I click on your links. Come on. Oh, now here's an interesting thing. This is another part to bring into it.
Okay.
The feeding legend, the feeding end. Movie tickets are only $8 here. I don't know where they are. $20. Lol. Welcome to San Francisco. What is it? It's like $14 for a movie ticket.
Yeah,
right
that's what I was
now.
saying. Like, if my girlfriend and I sat down to watch Interstellar the day it came out for $20.
And that's an IMAX ticket, by the way.
Yeah, that's literally saving me $10 from going to the movie theater.
Yeah.
And I can just stay at home. Yeah, like, so that's a great price for me.
Carlos here says, by this theory, Greg will gladly pay over the odds to watch a Taylor Swift concert sat on the sofa. No, see, that's the difference. Well, I would actually if it
Live
wasn't
music. No. I'm sorry. I got to interrupt here. There is no comparison between seeing live music and seeing a movie in a theater. I mean, that's very.
But stick with me for this right now, for this one thing, right? Taylor Swift's coming to Levi's Stadium this summer. I am going
Where the Niners play.
Yeah, I'm going to see the Santa Clara 49ers. I'm going to see that concert because that's an event. I love Taylor Swift. I want to support her. I want to go out and do it. Now, if Taylor Swift's concert in Levi's Stadium was available on demand from my house, I would still go to the concert. I want that event. Same way, if I really love movies, I'm going to go to the movie theaters to support them. In the same breath, though, if Taylor Swift's concert was in Las Vegas and she streamed it, yeah, maybe I would put it on. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm just talking more principally about. I mean, that's
I know,
true. I'm just talking like seeing a movie theater in a theater is a thing, and people like to see it, but it's not comparable to like the comparison of like sitting on your couch watching a movie is not comparable to sitting on your couch watching a concert. Like, a live concert is if you go see the right bands and you're in the right place in the right time.
Yeah.
Much
Bones 127 is also the pride of Long Island. He says tickets are $15 there.
on the LI. I absolutely believe that.
Go get him, Porty.
Long Island's absurdly expensive.
Hey, look at my big man, the pure one. Tim Getty's bringing me a coffee. Let him host. There he is. Now you can see yourself. See?
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, look at yourself. Look at yourself.
See? We're making you a star, Tim.
All right, let's do some tech news real quick, Greg. This is an interesting one. This is from 9to5mac.com via Drudge Report. This story was written by a man named Mark Gurman. This is what he says. Apple Watch launch is expected in March. Retail training set for mid-February.
Man, I do not want that.
Apple is finishing up work on the Apple Watch's software, and sources familiar with the product's development say that the device is currently on track to ship in the United States by the end of March. Apple previously said that the wearable product will ship in, quote, early 2015, end quote, while Senior Vice President of Retail Angela Ahrens, I don't know how to say that, Ahrens? How do you say it? There's just a lot of consonants
I would say
right
Ahrens.
there.
Yeah, you're fine.
Got a bit more specific by telling employees that the launch will occur in the spring after the Chinese New Year. Several sources tell us that Apple is planning an extensive testing program to familiarize Apple retail store employees with the new product category. 1 or 2 representatives from many Apple stores in the United States, depending on store and market size, will be sent to Apple offices in either Cupertino, California or Austin, Texas, to learn firsthand about the watch. These training programs will take place between February 9th and February 16th. In the couple of days preceding the official Apple Watch release date, these employees will then train other employees in their respective stores. In the months following the device's introduction in September, Apple has been polishing up the Watch OS and putting the device's battery through more extensive training. Apple has also been working overtime to improve the inductive charging mechanism necessary for charging up the device at night. Of course, unexpected delays in software development and manufacturing could push the watch back further in the year, but March is the current plan. The Apple Watch will come in three collections, Standard, Sport, and Edition, and several distinct wristband designs will be sold. While Apple has only revealed pricing for the metal and glass sport model at $349, which is absurd, rumors indicate that and it's absurd as me putting that in there.
Sure.
Rumors indicate that Apple will price the stainless steel and sapphire crystal standard models at around $500, while the gold version will be priced in the thousands of dollars range. That's the story. What do you think of all that?
That's a lot to take in, a lot to unpack, but I don't want that watch under any circumstance. Nothing they've done or said about it has made me interested in it. They've put watches out of business with the phone they gave me.
And the
They sold me.
people are making fun of your gulp again, by the way.
I do what I want.
You see, you
That was
didn't do
the
it all
angriest.
there. Because
Really?
You didn't,
So that's how I got to swallow not to do it.
Yeah, dude. No, you still did it.
Damn it. Really? We got to.
I'm sorry, but go on.
Oh, yeah. Fuck the Apple Watch. That's the end of it.
I agree. I think it's a stupid product. I think it's cool in a way, but like why? What's so weird about it to me? I mean, obviously this thing's small. It doesn't have the. I'm sure they can put the processing power in if they want. It would just make it very expensive. But
Yeah.
you have to have your phone on you to use it.
Yeah.
What is the point? You know what I mean? Like just take your phone. And this is the same way I feel about people that walk around holding their phone in their hands and then using a hands-free device. It's like just put the phone up to your face and talk into it. You know, it's the same thing. It's like you have a watch. It's like just take your phone out of your pocket and see what time it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's not.
Here's my question for you: if Steve Jobs is still alive, is the Apple Watch happening?
No. I mean, I'm sure that this has been rumored forever.
Yeah, I know.
For all we know, this could have been one of his ideas. He's had failures before, right? Like you have to go way back in the Apple history, but something like the Lisa was a $10,000 Apple computer in the early '80s. That was a total flop. But I don't see the vision for this. This is the problem with not having Steve Jobs, and this is what I've been saying. I mean, we've talked. Steve Jobs and Wozniak were
the Woz.
Wozniak was the technical expertise, and Steve Jobs was the visionary, and perhaps one of the great visionaries of all time in anything. Just one of the great visionaries. He saw something, right? We often talk about how in the mid-'70s, when they would go to the Homebrew Computer Club at Berkeley, when they were making Apple I, that Wozniak wanted to give it away. That wanted to like give away the knowledge about how to build this. And Steve Jobs was like, no, we can make money off of this, and this is a revolutionary product. What are you thinking?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Of course, they didn't know at the time that Xerox was making the Alto and the Star.
Sure.
But nonetheless, he was always the guy that saw the market potential for everything. He saw the market potential for Apple II. He saw the market potential for Mac. When Apple was floundering and a quarter or two away from bankruptcy in the 90s, he was the one that came back as a hero. He invented, didn't invent, but he helped create the iMac, which gave them a more hip look and a hip feel. The iPod, which was an insane revolution and revolutionized not only that, but the whole music industry. He revolutionized things with the iPhone and the iPad, and the watch just doesn't seem to be a revolution. Think about you can't live without this.
Yeah.
Ever again.
Well, a lot of people are pointing out this is, again, Box is best. A sub and a pro turbo user, a good guy here. Well, first off, El Manthropo says, Steve, the man who feeds you! Box is best says, wearable tech is insanely cool, and I love my Moto 360, only because it keeps me off the phone more. I can easily dismiss shit I don't care about, and I can spend less time on my phone, which is good for me and everyone. But the Apple Watch is trying to be a device that I use instead of my phone. It tries to do everything my phone does, which I don't effing want. Here's my thing about this, and people pointed out are saying that Steve Jobs, first off, Nickinator says he wouldn't have released the iWatch. Some people are saying he was involved with the early planning of the iWatch, which I believe. I'm just saying I don't think it would have gotten to this point because you know what I think is cooler tech is Google Glass. Not in its current state. I'm thinking like 2 iterations down here. Google Glass Mark IV will be a rad thing. You know what I mean? That gets me excited. At no point do I want to latch on. I don't wear watches. I haven't worn watches in forever, right?
My arm's too skinny to really.
Yeah, they just fall right off. They fall right off your little girl wrist. But I don't want to get on another watch, but I already wear glasses. So improve something I'm already carrying, right? The phone has put, I think, in my mind, at least for my argument right now, the watch out of business. And the reason I keep buying a new iPhone is because they keep improving the iPhone, right? So if you can improve my glasses and get Google Glass down to this. I think that's exciting to have a stupid notification that pops up if something's happening or I need or whatever I set it to. You know what I mean? Like I still haven't seen, like I'm not walking around like, oh man, Google, take a picture. Like I'm not like, that's not where I'm at, but like I do think that's a cool. I'm more interested in where that tech goes.
Yeah, like the heads-up display and whatnot.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that here's the interesting thing about Apple and what Apple's always really done is that they're not the first ones to make a computer, right? A home computer. They're not. They're not the first ones. Apple One was a revolution because it was the first marketed home computer, but there were people working on things that would have maybe evolved into that eventually, right? They weren't the ones that made, the MP3 player. They're not the ones that made the smartphone.
Yeah.
But when they make something, it becomes a mass market device that enters consumer consciousness.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the watch. There are wearable devices that we talked about one that use Android and all these kinds of things. These one-off kind of things. I think are on Kickstarter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The thing is that we're really going to see the market viability of something now that Apple is doing it, because we saw the market viability of the MP3 player not when companies in the late '90s were making them, but when the iPod came out.
Right.
We weren't seeing the viability of the smartphone when people were using BlackBerries. We saw it when the iPhone came out. And so we're going to see the same kind of thing, I think, with this. And what we could be totally wrong, but this doesn't strike me as something that is going to reach consciousness. Like it's expensive, and you have to, when they can get the processing into the watch and make it a little bigger, man, that's a different kind of thing. Like some sort of data pad of some.
Sure.
It's a weird idea, and I really don't believe that Steve Jobs would have released it.
I think you would have gotten into the prototype, and I think something would have changed. You would have gone somewhere else. It seems like it's not to me a giant step forward. You know what I mean? I feel like Apple products are usually this big step forward, at least when they introduce like the original model of something. You know what I mean? Like, remember the first time you saw an iPhone, like when they held it up, you're like, what? No buttons? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very weird thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's awesome story. I mean, and we've told this story. This is in Walter Isaacson. I think this is in Walter Isaacson's book, but someone had, maybe it's not about Steve Jobs, but someone had told me this, or I read this, that Steve Jobs was such a visionary down to the minutest details that even on products that seemed like they were going to be sure hits, like the iPhone, the iPhone's the iPhone screen was plastic during the prototype phase. And what he realized when he was carrying it around in early 2007 was he had his keys in his pocket and it was scratching the shit out of the phone. And he's like, you got to make this glass. And we already manufactured them. And he's like, well, too bad.
Yeah.
So they cared about, like, we have to replace the screens. They have to be glass. They're going to get scratched. People are not going to like the product. And so there was thought down to the minutest details. And I don't understand the watch. I want to play with it more when I go to an Apple store and Powell or whatever. I'll mess with it when they finally.
SAC USMC 27. I can't wait for the Pit Boy.
And people are saying I still have an iPhone 4. No, I don't. I have an iPhone 5S.
S.
5S, brothers and sisters. Let's move on to some last bits of news here, Greg.
Okay.
Bourne 5, according to IGN, the untitled next Bourne chapter.
This is the one with Matt Damon coming back, right?
Let's see. Yep, Matt Damon will return as Jason Bourne. And Paul Greengrass will return to direct the franchise's fifth film. It will release July 15, 2016. And then push 2 weeks, I'm sorry. So it's July 29, 2016 from July 15, 2016.
Okay.
And that's pretty exciting. I haven't seen Bourne 4, I guess. Is that even out? Is that a movie?
Yeah, that was the Jeremy Renner one,
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah, I saw the first. I really, really dig those movies.
He wasn't, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, Renner didn't play Bourne. He was another agent like Bourne that was out doing his thing. Correct? Thank you, chat. That's Nick.
I'm looking forward to that. I really like.
Really?
Yeah, I like the Bourne movies, and like I really think that those movies are excellent.
I liked 1 a lot, and I liked 2 fine, and then I was just like, I'm done. Like the Bourne movies, and this is just probably me with just action movies in general, are movies that I saw and I don't remember all that well. Like I remember the book fight. Remember when they fight and he picks up the book, he's like punching the guy in the neck, and then like the car chase, and that's like it. Same thing with the Italian Job. I don't remember much of that except Edward Norton's line to Mark Wahlberg when he's with Charlize Theron. She says something mean to him, and he goes, "Keep your cat on a leash," and she goes after him.
Oh.
Me and my friends used to say that to each other about our other friends, even though not because they were girls, because we didn't have any girlfriends, of course. We were just dudes hanging out. But it was just a funny line. Ed Norton's the man. Why is man? Remember when he was Hulk?
Yes.
He should still be.
Ed Norton was awesome. One of my favorite. What role was it? Ed Norton played an awesome role in that heist movie that took place in Canada. You know what I'm talking about? When he. Well, I'm gonna look it up real quick.
American History X.
No, that's an awesome role.
Really good movie.
No, there was a movie that came out in the early 2000s. Let's see if I can find it. Is it the Italian Job? No, I don't think so.
No, it's not that.
What was it?
While you look at that, Dion Troy J says, I'm ironing while watching you guys, in all caps. So thank you for ironing with us. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is Colin and Greg Live. We do it every day here on Twitch. Kind of funny games, of course. You can catch it at 11 p.m. a.m. Pacific time.
Should we wrap up?
No, I mean, it's noon if you want to wrap up.
There's one more quick story from Game Informer for our Xbox fans out there. Hi-Res Studio is launching the Smite beta.
The Score.
The Score.
Everyone is telling you there.
The Score, and I remember he played like he was playing like he was a mentally handicapped guy to get into. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I didn't see this one.
Let me know if anyone remembers. Like he was playing like he was like mentally disabled or whatever in a certain part to like get into something. It was like it just showed like his chops. I remember my mom and I talking after that movie because we went to see it together.
Yeah.
And it was like I was like, wow, he's just a great actor, and he especially plays I think a great villain.
While you get ready for this, I know you're queuing something up. The Ice24 says, the Kind of Funny Games cast isn't on iTunes yet. Is it only going to be on Bandcamp? No. Kind of Funny Games cast is going to iTunes. However, it operates on the Game Over Greggy schedule, which means that on Friday, the new episode posts for Patreon subscribers. Then it's broken out day by day on YouTube until the next Friday it goes up for everybody for free on YouTube and iTunes. So, even though we launched this show, it gets kind of confusing. The first time it would ever go to iTunes is this Friday. Tim says we're on track.
Right on.
Right on, man.
All right, so for our people that use the Xbox One, when we were at GameSpot yesterday, I think we actually saw a new, like, pretty extended trailer for this game, Smite. Smite is from Hi-Res Studio, and its registration site is opening for Xbox One. So this is the story from Game Informer. It says, just very brief, as promised, Smite is headed towards beta on Xbox One today. Developer Hi-Res Studios released a new trailer and open beta registrations for interested Xbox One players. So if you're interested in getting into the beta on Xbox One, which I think is exclusive to Xbox One, you can go to highresstudios.com. Hi-Res is HIREZ studios.com/Smite/Xbox. Go check that out. Of course, you can go to Game Informer and just click on the link from there as well.
Grant IV says beyond.
Beyond.
We've now just set off a chain reaction, by the way, that'll happen in the chat in a fraction of a second.
So we settled this on the Score. Does anyone remember the scene that I'm talking about? Or maybe I'm just... I don't know. Anyway, that's all the news I have for today, Greg. So should we go to our sub-only chat now, or is there anything else that you wanted to cover today?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
Let's just do it. Let's just go
Whoa.
to the... what?
SAC USMSC says that from CNET, Nike says self-lacing shoes are on track for this year. And this is the year that the Back to the Future 2 actually happened in. That's all I got to say about that.
It is the year that Back to the Future happened. It's a big deal. Let's go, I guess...
You want me to switch it to sub, or what do you want to do? You tell me.
Yeah, let's switch
You're the host.
Let's switch it to sub chat.
Here, before we switch to sub chat, we got to do our giveaway box item.
Let's do that.
So let's catch up real quick. Some people pointed this out in the chat yesterday, and I missed it. Thankfully, some people told me later on the fact. Originally we were saying, if you're a sub, you're entered to win the prize pack, right? And that we would pick from the subs. Turns out that's illegal. You can't make people pay for contests. So if we would have done that on Friday, cops would have broken in here, handcuffed us, taken us to jail.
Really? That's how... No due process.
And, I mean,
as far as you understand.
We understand Guantanamo now, don't we? We live in the post-Guantanamo world. We know how it's working. So to correct it, here's what we're doing. Okay. Stick with me.
Okay.
So we do this thing where every episode of Colin and Greg Live, which is daily, 11 a.m. here on Kind of Funny Games Twitch, we take an item out of our swag box, we put it into the prize pack that we will then pick a winner for on Friday and mail them the prize pack. Great. Before we were saying you had to be a sub. Not true, but here's how it's going to work. Subs are automatically entered in the contest to win this prize pack. If you aren't a sub, which is totally fine, again, we don't demand your money, thank you for watching. On the day, we're gonna have people tweet at Kind of Funny Vids with the hashtag Colin and Greg Live. When they do that, they'll be entered in the free portion.
Okay.
Then I'm going to roll a dice. If it's odds, it's gonna be we'll pick a name at random from the sub list.
Okay.
If it's even, we'll pick a name at random from the Twitter list.
Okay.
And that does it then. Everybody can get in for free, right? That sounds about right?
Yeah.
That sounds legal?
That,
I think that sounds legal.
I failed the bar, Greg, but yeah, that sounds fine.
All right, well, you let me know if that's not legal. Let's go through what's in the prize pack for the first week. You got The Flash, the complete series. You got WWE 2K15.
Oh, dear.
Damn. Hulkamania edition with the signed autographs. It's got a Funko Pop. It's got a piece of the mat. It's got the game. We got an Origin t-shirt.
Give him Portillo.
No, I'm never putting Portillo out there. What we're going to put out next is the Logitech G F310 gamepad. So you can play your games at home.
Is that not for PC or
It's for PC.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like an Xbox because
Yeah.
it's. I mean, it's smaller than the Xbox controller with that, which I dig. It's got the placement of the DualShock controller things there. You put it in, you play the Windows, if somebody's saying earlier, a lot of PC gamers here. Well, there you go, PC gamers.
Yeah, this is for you. This is specifically for you.
So on Friday we will draw names. You can either do it from Twitter, Jesus, or be a sub. But you don't have to be a sub. Legal people who are watching, don't worry. That's not it. It'll all be down to the dice roll. We'll never put Portola in there.
All right, so before we go to sub chat, Greg, let's just wrap things up. This is Colin and Greg Live.
Right.
You're on Twitch. You're watching it right now. Of course, a lot of people are concerned about how they might be able to consume the product if they're not able to watch it live. The idea of this show, when I came up with it, was basically this. It's kind of like the talk radio on AM radio. It's kind of like Mike and Mike or something on ESPN, where you catch it when you can live if you're around and you want to have some background noise at work or you're at home cleaning or whatever.
Right.
And if you can't, it'll be there for you on demand at twitch.tv/Kind of Funny Games, so you can watch old episodes. You don't have to be here right now. We're hearing you about where you want it to be, but we ask that you be patient. We're going to stick with Twitch for now and see what happens. I think you guys are really going to like this platform the more you use it. And I know a lot of you are already here. So.
And that's the big thing for me is I think, again, like I said in yesterday's show when we talked about this before, I don't think people understand that Twitch does the archiving. And I discovered, because people told me in the chat, if we want to sign up for a Turbo account, which would be like $8 a month, we can save stuff for up to 60 days.
Okay.
Do we really think anyone's going to watch our past broadcast past 60 days?
I don't know. So this is the thing we have to figure out is with Colin and Greg Live, I'd like to save all the shows just so we have them, even though we don't have to keep them up forever.
Sure.
I think that we should start sending maybe some of our Let's Plays and stuff, or our live streams to YouTube maybe, so that they're there for for posterity. Because people will go back and watch them.
Oh, and here's the other thing I was thinking about. Stick with me. We could, so you're not a Twitch subscriber and you want to see the content. We don't want to overload our YouTube feeds. I was thinking we could export Colin and Greg Live to YouTube, keep it unlisted, share with Patreon subscribers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we could. I mean, this is...
There's a million... There's so many different ways to slice this pie.
And we're going down the hole of complication.
But if you just go to twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames and click on our little profile, then all of the things are right there. You can watch them on demand.
Yeah, we understand.
Thousands of you have done that already.
We understand that everything's a little complicated. We're gonna streamline it for you as much as we can. But for right now, this is Colin and Greg Live. We stream it, of course, on our median, our hulking Origin Millennium Tower, which
that thing's amazing.
It looks like kind of like a spaceship. Maybe we'll show it to you one day. Maybe you can find it online. We actually have an unboxing.
I was gonna say you'll see it tomorrow in the unboxing we do.
So
people really dug the first unboxing of these laptops, which is awesome. When you hold it up, you're like, it came with a window. Asshole.
So thank you to Origin for that.
Yeah.
Thank you all of you for supporting us on patreon.com/kindoffunny and patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Of course, if you can't support us, don't want to support us, aren't interested in supporting us, that's totally fine. Our videos are at youtube.com/kindoffunny and /kindoffunnygames.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe. We just passed 100,000 subscribers on Kind of Funny. Kind of Funny Games is almost 30,000 after just 48 hours, so we're really super excited about that. We really, really thank you for all your support out there. We hope you like the show. Remember to reach out to us on Twitter. Greg is Game Over Greggy. I'm No Taxation. Let us know what you think of this show in particular, because we want to kind of cater it to your guys' needs and wants. So we're really so heartened as how many of you guys. This is an extraordinary amount of you guys. And this thing is almost 4,000 of you right now watching this live. So. That's really awesome. We really appreciate that. So give us feedback so we can make the show better. And subscribe if you want. If not, that's cool too. Portillo's tuckered out. I have no idea why. He literally doesn't do anything at all.
Colin, we sleep and he stays up protecting the house, patrolling the house. He scares away cat burglars all night long.
Cat burglars?
Yeah. Remember that? Cat burglars? Not like cat, not you know what I mean. Like that's a phrase. I didn't make that up.
No, I know, but what is a cat, like a burglar that steals
What's the
cats?
difference? No. A cat burglar, I guess I was just imagine they're spry. They're in black suits and they jump in. All right, I'm going to switch it to sub chat only.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to keep watching if you're not a sub, but only subs can chat as of now. We will answer your questions, talk to you, and do things. It's updated. It's happened. Sub chat hype. Cheese661 says, I wish I could afford a laptop like that. I understand. Origin has a whole bunch of different ones out at originpc.com.
Yeah, these laptops have been very, very kind to us.
They're really good.
And Origin has been very kind to us. So let's get into it, Greg, for about 10 minutes, and then
Can I yell at Tim?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yo, Tim. Yeah. The Keyblade in chat says, did you see the news? Tell Tim that Goody, voice actor, states on Twitter that Kingdom Hearts 3 voice acting is finished. The game releases in 2015. Bam, says Tim. He doesn't believe it, but bam. Will there be Kind of Funny Games content on the weekend, says Purple-Headed Hot Dog, one of my favorite subscribers.
No, I don't think we're going to be doing any of our shows over the weekends, but we might occasionally, do a like something like this, a stream, not the Colin and Greg show, but.
Weekends are free form. Weekends are your chance to catch up. I will be when we play video games for fun. Yeah, maybe we click on a stream, but there won't be anything we're really sitting around going like, all right, this is what it is. This is how it happens. Blah blah. We're gonna kind of the idea one day would be to move to having weekends again, where we're not working all the time. This week is a different story. This week's crazy. We want to make sure we take care of you. You've all been so good to us on Patreon, on YouTube. We want to make sure we're giving you what you want. Foggy says, hey, Foggy.
All right, let's see. Any more? Gleeger says, any more board games coming up? We were going to play Monopoly, another 7-game tournament, because Greg can't wait another year to get beaten badly.
Oh, my shot at that belt, son.
Wait, the belt is so the belt is just whenever you want it, you're going to challenge for? Because I thought that was
No, we talked about this. The belt is for the annual Black Friday tournament, but it's the Monopoly Championship of the house. We launched a Kind of Funny Games thing. Everybody loved the Monopoly tournament. We're doing one exhibition match for the belt, and then next Black Friday will be the next, and then we'll be back on that track. Just one more Monopoly tournament with your best friend, all right? Come on.
I'll put you away quick again.
I know you will.
No, that was. I mean, it's a game of skill, but it's also a game of luck.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Let's see. The Mike FC says, I watch the majority of your content on a phone, so I can't watch the stream archive. You should put these shows on YouTube. It's kind of, we're hearing you, we're understanding you, we're taking these notes, but that's more on Twitch to make a streaming archive available on the
and I have to imagine they're looking into it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Hey, Nick, come here for a sec. I need you to take my phone.
Dragon Scribe says, what Patreon milestone that you've reached are you most looking forward to fulfilling? For me, the Mega Man live stream, I'm really looking forward to doing.
Okay.
Basically, because of your generous support on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, I'm going to one day stream soon, within the next month or so, I would assume, stream continuously Mega Man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 9 and 10.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
For the thing I'm most looking forward to from our Patreon goals, I mean, overall, at Kind of Funny, I'm super stoked to do the live event. I know that you've all been very patient about waiting for information on that. The original plan was, let's do it in February. Then, of course, we decided to quit our jobs, and that threw things off. And like I always talk about, one of the big reasons we had to leave IGN, right, because we want to focus so much on Kind of Funny. We do Kind of Funny work at night, but people who have event spaces for rent are at their work at day, and so I couldn't call and do all these things. I'm still targeting, I think, April now, because I want to make sure everybody has time to figure out how to get to San Francisco to do this. I want to make sure everybody has a chance to do this. I don't want it too close to PAX or PAX East. I want to make sure we're spread out so everybody has a chance. So there's things coming. I'm excited for the live event. Out of the new stuff, I personally am excited to make a Walking Dead perfect PS4 save. So I'm going to be doing a stream of Walking Dead Season 1, 400 Days, and Season 2 all at once. Should be about, 20 hours, a little less.
Awesome.
Looking forward to that.
Michael Roy Media asks, is there any chance that Tim or Nick could make some content covering the technical aspects of what goes into your videos and podcasts? I would love to learn some things. What do you think of that, Greg?
I think totally. People ask that the questions I get the most are, A question I get a lot is what kind of equipment you use? How do you do the podcast? Yeah, we'd love to, because people ask me, like, what camera are you using? And like, this one's a Logitech webcam, great. But when they're like, what fancy camera are you using? I'm like, I don't know. What microphones do you use? I'm like, I don't.
I'd like for them to give us some more clarity on that as well, for people that are interested in that.
You're just doing it because you want to break away.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm already planning it again. Let's see.
Colin and Ramon live.
James Collette says, would love to see Colin do retro gaming streams or Let's Plays. Do you guys have a Retron 5? No, I would love to get my hands on a Retron 5, and we can use the Virtual Console, and for really just old game, like we were talking about the DOS games yesterday, we can just use,
Throw me a bone and tweet the Retron 5 folks. I emailed them over break about what was happening, hoping we could work out some kind of deal, because obviously it costs money to get a Retron 5. And granted, we have this Patreon money, but it hasn't come through yet. But I'd like to work with them closely, and it was one of those things where I think it got lost in the shuffle, not to mention that I couldn't really say exactly what was happening, so I need to hit them up too. But if you tweet them right now, let them know I'm coming.
I mean, you're going to see me pretty much only stream, for the most part, I think, kind of retro-style games at the very least, like Axiom Verge or retro games. I'm planning this week, probably at some point, I'd like to do it this week if possible. If not, definitely next week. I'll do a full Shovel Knight playthrough and stream the whole thing. Let's see. What's another good... I saw one here. Where is it? Oh, this is a good one. X-Toxic X Joker X, Greg asks.
Yeah.
Colin and Greg, if you could hang out with only one Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, who would it be?
Donatello.
Donatello?
Yeah.
I would pick Raphael. Now the
Angsty one who's come on.
Like Leonardo's my favorite.
Yeah.
But Raph seems like he have a good time with him.
No, you wouldn't. He's too moody. I guess he's kind of like you. I guess you're kind of Raphael, aren't you? Shit, I just put that together. I would say no Raph because he's too moody. I would say no Michelangelo because he's too party dude. You know what I mean? He's got nothing going on up there. And then Leo's always training. He's always thinking about how to lead the team. Donatello seems like he'd chill out, play games. Then he'd build you cool contraptions. If Donatello was working on all this tech stuff, we'd have cameras swooping in. Motherfucker, I forgot something I wanted to do today.
What?
Christine wanted us to hook up a second webcam just to have it on Portillo so that we could click back and forth and see the Porty cam.
Okay.
I'll do it tomorrow.
We'll do it tomorrow.
I apologize, everybody. Sub hype for Porty cam.
Let's get a few more or a couple more questions, and then we're
Sure.
gonna bounce out.
Ooh, do you see this Man U for champ? Or you're higher in the thing? Can I call one out that I want to do?
Yeah, please.
Man U for champ says, guys, I'm getting my Vita tomorrow. What should my first game be? I've already played Rogue Legacy and Guacamelee. I'm willing to try some JRPGs. Let me repeat it again. If you're willing to try a JRPG, do Persona 4, but that will then suck up all your life. I like my Vita in poppy fun bursts. Freedom Wars is fun if you have other people to play with. Get other people to play with, because that's really where I think I fell in love with that game. Outside of that, Lumines, amazing puzzle game, great puzzle game. You can probably get it super cheap right now too. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, for RPGs, I think, Tales of Hearts R, I played a little bit. I think it's a very traditional role-playing game. I think that's definitely going to resonate with some people. I think Rainbow Moon's a really good a really good game to play, too. Dragon Fantasy Book 1 didn't really do it for me, but it's very Dragon Quest 1-like, and I think that the kind of the aesthetic and stuff will resonate with some people as well. T-Starkey0810 just says real quick, Greg equals Leo, Colin equals Raph, Tim equals Mikey, Nick equals Donatello. That's pretty perfect.
Oh my god, that's way too perfect. I don't like. You know what else is too perfect?
What's that?
This.
You have to understand that I'm Geraldo. I'm not anyone to trifle with.
I know the audio's low, but they're saying I'm Geraldo. I'm not to be trifled with.
I'm Geraldo.
Geraldo. Remember when we opened Al Capone's vault?
Yeah, I remember a lot of things about Geraldo. That guy's fun. It's a funny dude, man. My mom always talks about how she went with her sister to see Geraldo in the late '80s.
Oh yeah.
And that during the commercial break, he handed her his microphone, and she held his microphone when he went to get like makeup or whatever.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's like
that was like her big moment.
Yeah. Final question comes from Joe Chill. He says, "Are you looking forward to the new season of House of Cards?"
You can't give. Oh man.
What?
The final question goes to the guy who killed Batman's parents.
Yeah. Oh, that's the name of it.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I can't wait for the new season of House of Cards. You?
Oh my god, yeah, I'm so excited. The biggest problem is going to be not watching them all in one day.
We should do it and stream that.
I'm going to watch like one a day or two.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna get crazy. I'm gonna get in there, get up in there, and just eat them.
All right, guys, we'll do a longer, more substantial sub chat. I think tomorrow. We just have to we have a full schedule though today. We have to move on.
From here we go on. I have 2 phone calls now booked for businessy things for this business, and then we have to do the Kind of Funny Games cast. Then I have another podcast I'm appearing on for promotional consideration. Then we're going out into dinner with some PR people about what comes next for games to bring you. So a lot of cool stuff is in the works, as always, with us.
Absolutely.
Thank you for support on Patreon. Thank you for support here on Twitch. Thank you for being a sub. Thank you for just watching. Don't even worry about subbing, but it's awesome if you sub. Here, go to the YouTube. Bump up those numbers. We're at 100,000.
Yeah,
Can we get games up to there too?
We won't give you.
Who knows?
We won't give you the whole rigmarole here because you're our. You guys have already subbed and are really being with us here, and we really appreciate that. So just come back tomorrow, twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. You're already there.
Yeah.
Watching
2 p.m.
So
are we streaming at 2 today? Or no, we had to bump it because of Gamescast, right?
Yeah, I mean, I won't have any time to do anything, but maybe the other guys will, and we'll.
Yeah, well, what's gonna. So here, let's talk that through real
Okay.
quick. So yeah, we usually do it at 2 p.m. because of the GameSpot thing. Schedule on our things. So I think our plan was to record at 1:30, which would then have us done at 3, so I can do the podcast I'm on, and then people can come in and stream stuff. So maybe it's Nick making me's again, maybe it's Colin playing something, maybe it's just him being Tim. But there will be a stream for you at 3 p.m. today, not 2 p.m. So tell your friends.
Yeah, all of that's good stuff.
Yeah,
and we're gonna try to be more consistent about that. It's just again.
Oh, I think we did. Pretty consistent. We've done it 2 days in a row. We missed one. That's some math for you.
It's
a third,
somewhat
2/3 of the time we're doing it.
So thank you for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow and every weekday here on Twitch. And of course, youtube.com/kindoffunny, kindoffunnygames, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
all that. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless.
I'm gonna do Geraldo one more time.
Okay.
We'll get the audio bumped up for you next.
You have to understand that I'm Geraldo. I'm not anyone to trifle with.